Hi everyone and welcome to Club2 Episode 7 of Rolling in the Isles, an FM22 British Isles Journeyman series with me, the United City FM. Welcome along. So, not a lot's happened since you and I were together last. I've played the cup match against H&W Welders and we beat them, which is fantastic. Gets rid of a bit of a mini run of poor results. Today we go straight back into the league in the new setup. The top six now play each other. We're one of those and today we get Carrick. Can we get off to a good start in this part of the league? Let's find out. Welcome back to Ballina-Mallard in the second tier of Northern Irish football. We're in the Championship. We've been through the first half of the season. Now the second half of the season, the league breaks up into two and we managed to get into the top half. So there's going to be some tricky games for the rest of the season. But now we play the rest of the top six, both home and away again. So that's another 10 fixtures to play. There's also a cup match in there. If we go and look at the schedule just briefly, you will see that our recent run of form, bad form, should I say, has come to a bit of an end, which is good. We beat H&W Welders in the cup to go through there. We've got Portadown next in the sixth round of the Northern Irish Cup, and they've already beaten us. Earlier in the season, they beat us 1-0 at this point in the latter part of October in the other cup competition. They come from a division above us as well, so that's going to be a tricky fixture, but we'll see if we can give that one a good go. For today, we've got Carrick, and if we go to the competition page itself, you'll see Carrick finished the first half of the season in second position, a long way behind Newry, who are basically going to win the title already. We've dropped down. We were in those top three positions for a while. We've dropped down to fifth, but only by a couple of points. And that is my aim. If entirely possible, we're going to try and get into that third playoff spot. If we don't quite manage it, I think it's still a reasonably good season, but that's the intention from this point onwards. And it all starts today against Carrick. So, having got into those top six places, the way that we play hasn't changed at all. There was no reason for us to, but we did have one thing that happened in this January transfer window. We're sitting in the 28th of January, so still a couple of days left. I don't expect there to be much more movement, but we have made one signing because we lost one player, basically. We lost McCleary, I think his name was, something like that. Anyway, that's how memorable he was. He was a central midfield player, and I did feel that we needed a little bit more reinforcements in that area, having lost one. So I did bring a new guy in, and it's this guy over here, Corey Brennan. And you can see, like, he's very typical of what we've already got in this club. There's a couple of key attributes that are very good, like his passing, for example. Fitness is decent. Determination, decisions, first touch are all very good. The rest of it is a bit average, but that's kind of the level that we're playing at. And he's going to come in, and he's sitting on the bench for the first game today that he's available for, and we'll see whether we can get him some action at some point. The other thing that happened, of course, is that we brought a couple of youngsters up because we released a couple of players before the January transfer window. So the likes of Rory Keane now played his first game for us, did very well. There's, again, a couple of key attributes that are all right, including things like his determination. The rest of it, he's got a bit of pace as well and agility, but the rest of it is a bit average. But we'll give him some game time. You never know. At this level, he might succeed, he might not. We'll just have to see what happens with that one. But ultimately, everybody else pretty much stays the same. And we're all ready and raring to go against Carrick. So, for today's game, we're going with Williamson in goal, Carey at right back, Curry at left back, Armstrong and McCann in central defence, Grayson McKee in central midfield, Crook on the right, Burns on the left, McGlynn and Bander up top with a bench of Dealey, Smith, Brennan, Keane and McElwain. So, let's get into today's game and see what happens. So, because we won last time out in the cup against the Welders, I thought it was prudent to push this team to even greater heights, really, rather than sit back on it and go, well, we'll see what happens today. I've put my hands on my hips. I've tried to encourage the players as best I can that we can move into a playoff spot if we win this match. And that's got to be the intention from now on. We've got to try and win every game that we play in this new group that we are now part of at the top. of the Championship in Northern Ireland. So we'll see how we get on. Now, this game and the Newry game are two that I don't necessarily expect to win, because I think they're two very good sides, Carrick and Newry. But other than that, I really do want us to push as much as we can to getting as many positive wins as we can against the other sides in this, and see if we can nick a point or two against a couple of these slightly bigger sides. So we'll see how we get on today. We're away from home in this first fixture of this second section of the league. So that's always a little bit more challenging. But Burns puts the ball in the box and the player goes down in the middle of the penalty box. Has the ref given a penalty? I think he has. And this could be a perfect opportunity to get us a lead that we can potentially try and hold on to. Burns steps up and puts the ball away himself. He was the guy on the cross in the first place. And he puts it into the back of the net with no problems at all. He's had a couple of penalty kicks this season and looked very decent on them. Excuse me. And we take a 1-0 lead after about 17, 18 minutes of the match. That's really positive. You can see that we're actually doing pretty well. Higher possession, higher amounts of shots. We've had a couple on target. The XG rating is really good. So ultimately, we are deserving of our lead at this point. If we can go in at half-time 1-0 up, I think that gives us a real good chance to try and hold on to something in the second half. But no doubt, Carrick, I suspect, will come back at us in this second half. Can we go in with a greater lead? We'll see. We've got potentially one more chance here to have a go with. And it's worked down the left-hand side. And it's Banda off the back of the defender trying to go out wide and keep the ball. Doesn't quite manage it. And they counter very quickly. A very, very good long ball over the top down the wing. But then the shot from that really weird angle out on that far right-hand side was just awful in a lot of ways. And it goes sailing over the top. And we do get through to half-time with a 1-0 lead. That is pretty spectacular stuff, really. But again, I think that in general terms, we deserved it. In the last sort of 10, 15 minutes of the game, they did pick up a few shots themselves, but they've yet to register one on target. And that's usually our game. That's usually how we go about things. So let's see if we can keep this up in the second half. So we're going to go out there, pump the fists. Things are going well, capable of even more. Do I want to drop back to cautious mentality or defensive? I don't think I do just at the moment. I think we're going to go and go out and demand more from them in this second half. Keep doing what we're doing, basically, is the challenge at the moment. But you can begin to see that Carrick had got a couple of shots early in this second half as well. So the momentum had slightly shifted on this game. So I think potentially we are going to have to make a move here. And that's not going to help us at all, is it? Whereas they gave us a penalty in the first half, we give them a penalty in the second half. And it's those sorts of errors that are constantly biting us. Although, on this occasion, they went straight down the middle and Williamson didn't move. And we get a fantastic save from the goalkeeper. Free kick, though, makes up for it. You could see, just watch this replay. Just as he's about to kick it, the goalkeeper moves to his right-hand side. There you go. He moved to the right-hand side, gave even more space over this side. And Knowles saw it and put the ball in it, basically. And we are under the cosh now. So if, when this is done, we're going to have to make a couple of tactical changes here. So we're going to pause the match. We've got something to hold on to. But look, I mean, they've doubled their shots on goal in this second half, and we've yet to have one. So what do? Do we try and hold on to what we've got and take a draw out of it? Or do we see that the momentum of the game has shifted and we can try and re-momentum it, for want of a term that I can't think of at the time, and find a way to get back on the front foot somehow? That's the challenge. I think we're going to give this a go, you know. I think that in the first half, they were fairly ordinary. In the second half, they've come back into it. Now's our time to see if we can shift this about a bit. So, how are we going to do that? I think we're going to change the shape. And to do that, how brave am I feeling? That's the question. I'm feeling very brave. Why not? Let's do this. Let's go for this. So, Crook comes out. McIlvaine goes in. He goes up alongside the other two strikers. We're going to bring Burns centrally because that's actually his natural position anyway. We're going to play two poachers either side of a pressing forward Doesn't matter whether they can play the roles or not. That's what I want them to play. We're going to have Burns in behind them. We're going to withdraw these two into ball-winning defensive midfielders. So he is all ready. And we're going to play route one, basically. So we're going to pick the route one, but we are going to change a couple of things up in it. So we're going to take those out because we don't want to worry about that. That's all fine. I don't want to waste any time. We're going to just reduce them slightly. So tempo goes down slightly. Directness just a little bit as well. We're going to keep it fairly narrow. In transition, we're going to regroup. Are we, or are we going to press? I think let's press instead. We'll take the counter-attack off as a dog in the distance started barking their head off, and my dog's going to react to that if you haven't heard it already. So if you do, apologies for that. Take a long kick to the target man. Fine, that's all right. We'll get it down the pitch as quick as we can. And we're going to raise this up slightly as well. We're going to try and win the ball as high up the pitch as we can and get ourselves an opportunity or two at goal. And we're going to take out get stuck in as well because there's a couple of yellow cards around that I don't want to lose any of the players. So what we're also going to do is bring the new midfielder in. So McKee comes out because of the yellow card, and so we'll put in Brennan, the new guy, and we're also going to take out the yellow card at the back because we've almost given them one or two other opportunities to get a player sent off at the back there as well. So those are the changes that we're going to make. This is do or die. I mean, it's probably going to go wrong. I'm sure there's plenty of you suggesting I should have tried to hold on for the draw, but where is the fun in that? We're in the top six. We might as well give it as good a go as we possibly can and try and get into those playoffs. But to do that, we have to turn this game round because they took all of the momentum of this match in this first part of the second half. Definitely. I mean, they've had like half a dozen shots at goal and we haven't registered a single one at this point in this second half. I didn't mean to leave that on cautious either. Let's put that up onto attacking and just boot it up there and see what happens for the last 10 minutes or so. And we're going to go back into the shouts and fire them up for it. One last go. We haven't really done too much, unfortunately. We had one shot at goal since we made those changes, which really isn't what I was looking for at all. I'd hope that we would sort of just launch it down there a few times and get a little bit lucky somehow. That's offside. I'm totally sure that's offside. I'm not worried about that one at all. He was stood in an offside position just at the top of the 6-yard box for quite a while, it felt like. He's offside there already. And then, again, he's offside there. So, yeah, that was pretty bad play from him, wasn't it, really? But, again, Carrick still finding their route through in the second half. They have definitely upped their options in this second half. We're trying as much as we can to defend and get an opportunity in response to it, but it feels quite difficult to get out, unfortunately. We've got 3 minutes of injury time, that's all. It looks like, unless we're very unlucky, we're going to come away with a draw here, which isn't a terrible result against one or two of the better sides in this division. I think that's all right. But maybe there is one more chance. McGlynn does brilliantly well to spin his defender, and then he puts it right the way across the face of the goal. There was nobody on that back post trying to get in and help out, and he didn't quite pull it back deep enough to give it to somebody else. We're going to win the ball one last time, go straight over the top. We win the ball in the attacking area as well. Banda drops it back into midfield very, very badly. If this creates a goal now, I'll be really cross with that. Dealey is going to get himself booked. That's unfortunate. And it was Banda that did it. Really awful ball back into midfield. And it's those sorts of things that you can put out a team as much as you like. You can set them up in lots of ways. But if they make individual errors like that, there's not a huge amount that you can sometimes do about that as a manager sitting on the sidelines. And eventually the game does end. We came back into it just in that last little section of the game. Burns played really well in that attacking midfield role. Other than that, everybody else was a little bit below par today. We come away with a very, very good 1-1 draw away from home against Carrick. I'm happy with that. Just one or two moments that could have made it slightly better, though. So a draw was reasonable. It's kept us in fifth just at the moment. We've got a couple of points over Armagh, so that's not too bad. There is a little bit of a gap here, though. 4 points up until Loughgall sitting in that third position spot, which I really want if we can take it. But what we're going to focus on now is basically Carrick and Newry, I think, are basically beyond us. We're going to focus on these other three teams, Loughgall, Dergview and Armagh. So if we go and look in the fixture list, we can see that there's a route through to play all three of those before the end of the season. So we've just played Carrick at this point. We're going to come back after our cup match against Portadown, and we're going to play that game against Loughgall away from home. We're going to come back once again in the following episode and play Dergview away from home just in the early part of April. And then the last game of the season is against Armagh. Out away from home again. All of the away fixtures. That's not great, is it? But that's the way that the league shapes up for the rest of our season. And we're going to see if we can find a way to claw ourselves past those three teams and go and sit in third position. That's the intention. We'll see whether we can do it. Today actually was not a bad result at all. Away from home against Carrick, who I think are a decent side in this league. I think that's not too bad. And it keeps a little bit of a mini run going after a couple of bad results. So that is also good. So come back, join me next time. We'll play Loughgall, see how we get on against them. Until then, take care of yourselves. Subscribe to the channel if you haven't already. Click a like button if you haven't already. Help me continue to grow the channel. Take care of yourselves. I'll see you very soon. Bye for now.